Blake, so I'm talking to um my Tammy, you know her,
Yeah.
but my realtor and project manager, and she's doing some like house videos for me. And on some pier and beam properties, I'm seeing a good amount of unsettling.
Mhm.
And as I'm going for turnkeys, I'm kind of writing those off pretty quickly because I think the cost to put in to fix those is probably going to be a little bit too high for a turnkey approach versus maybe a burr. I'm also hesitant on if it would raise the value of the house if I wanted to approach a burr like that. And what is your experience with some of that with pier and beams and all that
Yeah.
in markets that you've looked at?
Yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about the nature of pier and beam, and then we can go into evaluating properties through the lens of burr and turnkey as to
Okay.
whether or not pier and beam would be a good option for you. All right. So first, pier and beam, it's a foundation type that's different than slab. Slab being pouring a big old fat square of concrete, and pier and beam being you've got essentially think about a pier out on the ocean, right? You've got certain posts and then you've got beams, right? So piers and beams. They both have benefits to them and they both have their own trade-offs, right? So while slab is super resilient and you're probably not going to have to fix it for a long time, like it's not going to break. When it does break, it's way more difficult to deal with. So that's one piece. The other piece is, let's say you want to put in another bathroom, right? You want to add a bathroom, a half bath or a full bath at some point. Plumbing on a slab can get way expensive, depending on the way you do it, right? If it's on the opposite side of a kitchen and you've already got the sink right there, you just tap into that. Well, that's fine. But if you need to put it in a fundamentally new place and you have to go through the slab, that can get really expensive. Or they got to run it around some other really creative way. But it's really resilient. Like you're not going to have foundation issues for at least 15 years when you have slab. Pier and beam, while it settles more, it's way cheaper to fix, right? Because you can literally crawl. Our house is pier and beam, right? We live in a historic district. It's I think built in 1929, so I can crawl. I have crawled under the house and seen everything, right? And so there's a luxury there that if you need to run new conduit or you need to run new piping, plumbing, new water lines, you can. But they settle more. Now, all that to say, not all settling is created equal. When you're looking at a property, if you're seeing cracks come out of, say, the corner of a door frame, so if the door frame's here and a crack is coming here, that's not as concerning as something going up the middle of a wall, right? Because you know this, but given your academic background, those two things form a joint, which creates stress concentration, right? Which is going to create a forced fracture, right? Under a certain amount of stress, right? Once it reaches its point. So those aren't as concerning. The nice part, again, about pier and beam is it's more easily fixed, right? So that's about pier and beam in general. Now, when we look at it through the lens of burr versus turnkey, burr, I see pier and beam properties or properties with foundation issues in general as a differentiated opportunity for me, because a lot of people will look at those properties and say, I don't even want to touch those properties because I don't deal with foundation. And that's fine. Foundation opens yourself up to risk, but that risk can be quantified. You bring in a foundation team and they say, I will fix and warranty this for $5,000 or $6,000 or whatnot. You can just take that out of the expense on the property, either on your rehab costs or in concessions or a reduced price on the property, right? So I consider that an advantage because the market for those properties is smaller because a lot of people say, I don't want to touch them. Now, when you're looking at through the lens of turnkey, that's burr. When you're looking at it through the lens of turnkey and you're looking through pictures and you're seeing, crack in the wall here or something there, if it's more significant, then you say, yeah, I probably have to do foundation work. If it's not, if it's something coming out of, say, the corner of a window or of a door frame, and there's just a couple of them, I wouldn't be too terribly concerned about that. All right. I would definitely, if I got under contract, I'd have an inspection done. But lots of times those types of inspections come back. They say, this is natural settling for a pier and beam house. It's the foundation is performing as intended. That's the language they use. Now, if they say it's deficient and you need to have an inspector or you need to have a foundation expert come in, that's different. then you can ask for concessions or a price reduction. But if they say it's performing as intended, you're in good shape. And those cracks, they're going to happen. They're going to happen more on pier and beams, but they're not nearly as concerning as a slab foundation crack would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.